75 William Street in Pittston was once the home of Pittston Stove Company, which manufactured internationally acclaimed stoves from the 1800s through the 1950s, putting Pittston on the map. Currently, this iconic building is called the Duchess Outlet and has been owned and operated since 1958 by the Caprari family. The Capraris use this space for retailing antiques and collectibles. Join us now for a bit of local history and a lot of shopping. Julio, thanks for having us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming to visit. We truly appreciate it.
You're very welcome. You have a lot of local items and a lot of vendors, but right now we're going to talk about this really cool piece of furniture that you've acquired. Let's talk about it.
Yes, this just came in, and one of the most fun parts about being in this business is all the cool things that come in.
Yeah.
So we're still researching. It's still new to us, but this certainly has some significance to Charles Lindbergh and the 1927 flight, which of course was the first solo flight across the Atlantic. We don't know if it had any significance to him personally,
right?
But certainly this chair seems to depict it. You have the transatlantic flight from New York to Paris, the Spirit of St. Louis plane, and if you look here, it seems to depict an old-time ship
and
an airplane depicting possibly the old way and the new way across the Atlantic. And also here is a military symbol. We do know that he was World War I. So we don't know for sure if it has any significance to him personally, but certainly it seems to depict it, and we have lots of homework to do.
Yes, and that must be so much fun to do actual research to find, while putting the pieces together.
Yes, of course. All right, so this is a Civil War cavalry sword with local significance, and you can see here seated at the bottom left is Mr. George Burkle, who was from Scranton. We also have some of his personal effects, his cufflinks, the death pin that they would have worn at his funeral. His claim to fame is that he is one of the claimants. There are others throughout the war to have fired the last shot of the Civil War.
Wow, that's really cool.
So as the story goes, he was cavalry, as you can see by his sword. This happened during the Battle of Morrisville Station, and that was in North Carolina, which happened 6 days after the surrender at Appomattox. But of course, General Lee did not surrender the entire Confederacy at Appomattox. He surrendered the Army of Northern Virginia, which was the largest and most powerful, but it wasn't the entirety of the Confederacy. So there were battles and skirmishes, this being one of them. So the flag of truce had already come up. The Confederates had lost the battle. He was detached to a three-man team, and the cannon being already loaded, one of the men yells, "Let her go anyhow." So the last shot of the Civil War.
Wow, that's crazy.
There were certainly battles after that, but this was the last battle that involved major forces.
That's crazy.
So a lot of people do consider this possibly the last shot. And this sword, interestingly, was also with General Sherman on the famous March to the Sea.
Wow.
His cavalry unit accompanied Sherman. He famously said that he would make Georgia howl, and certainly he did.
Yes.
Today we would call it a scorched earth campaign. Just right through Atlanta, everything in his path to Savannah, then they turned northward into the Carolinas where this last battle was.
Amazing. What a treasure.
It certainly is.
Joining us now is Paul, and this is a family affair, the other half of the Duchess Outlet, your brothers, and of course this building has been in your family for quite a long time, and it's also a very historic building because before that it was...
It was the Pittston Stove building. At one time it was over 5 times the size that it is today. For how large this building seems, this is the remaining section.
It looks like it was like a block or two long.
It was the entire city block. This was the foundry and molding section that went up Broad Street. In 1950, one of the largest fires in the history of Greater Pittston happened in that molding section.
Oh.
That essentially ushered out the Pittston Stove. But prior to that, and starting in the 1870s, Pittston Stove was one of the most innovative and famous stove companies. Matter of fact, by the 1890s, they had already shipped their 3rd unit to Peking, China.
Is that unbelievable? So it was an international company?
It was an international
Is that crazy?
company.
Right here in Pittston?
Right. Yep. This company put Pittston on the map. And by the way, that shipment took 6 months to get there.
Oh man, that's crazy.
You did mention that my brother and I are 3rd generation. And interestingly, since the 1870s, so almost 150 years, this building has only had 2 owners, Pittston Stove and the Caprari family.
That's so awesome. That's so terrific.
My grandfather purchased the building soon after the fire, a few years later. I think it was 1956. The center section was still here. And it was Duchess Coat and Suit Manufacturing Company. He employed more than 150 primarily women seamstresses, and they would manufacture textiles. Tragically, there was another fire in 1973, and then this building was destroyed. Thankfully, we still have this large building
Right
that
where
we're
we're standing today.
You know, our family has always moved forward with business ventures, always keeping the name Duchess as my grandparents did.
Nice, very nice.
And actually, we have several Pittston stoves on display in our store, and my brother has the expertise, and he is the one that has restored them, so I would like him to speak about that.
This is a Pittston 904. It's one of the more common pieces that was made, 1920s, 1940s.
So how did this work? So how, like, they would put the coal in this compartment here?
No, in this compartment here.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And that would heat it.
Oh, this would be the
completely.
oven.
Yeah,
Correct,
this is
all
the
right.
oven.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite a piece.
It sure
it's done
is.
with a heavy porcelain glazing. All the stoves in the building I did find in scrap yards and redid myself.
Wow.
And it's amazing. They're true art pieces.
They are.
They were meant as the focal point in any home.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for having us. And why don't you tell us a little bit more about the Duchess Outlet?
Oh, it's a great family of antique people. We have about 40 vendors, and we're under major expansion, another 3,000 square foot, which we hope to have open early spring. So it's really fantastic. We're looking forward to it.
And you also have a special event that goes on every year, too, that's pretty big.
For the first Saturday in October every year, we have our antique fair. Last year we had about 70 vendors in our back lot. We are on an acre of land. We had the road closed, we had food trucks, we had things for kids, everything for the family, so it was great.
Sounds like a great, great time.
We're at 75 William Street in Pittston, just right on Route 11, can't miss us.
It's so much fun to walk through the building. It's really great. You have beautiful things here, and we thank you so much for having us today.
Wonderful.
Thank you.